is when they have a question.
All right, we're live now.
Thank
Got
you.
it.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Very nice.
And I love my job and it shows, so that's good.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Rehill, Chairperson of the Library Trustees, and it is 7:02, and I'm calling the meeting to order. I'm going to read a statement I am required. This open meeting of the Library Board of Trustees is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of June 16th, 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the Library Board of Trustees are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the Library Board of Trustees to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Now, members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mitch Cohen is not here. Mary Crowley.
Here.
Jim Hogan is not here. Okay. Nita Karanchkar.
Nita Karanchkar.
Charles Recchia is not here. Joan Scott.
Joan Scott here.
Thank you. Richard Tucker.
Good Tucker here.
And I'm Michelle Rehill. I'm also here. We also have present Jen Bruno and Deborah Hirsch. All righty. I've done my opening call to order and opening remarks. I have no other opening remarks. So the first item of business on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of October 21 meeting. Unfortunately, our secretary has had some technical problems and was unable to provide the copy of the minutes. So we will move that, the approval of the October 21st minutes to the meeting next month. So we're just zooming right along. Next item on the agenda is the appropriations report. Are there any questions or comments about the library's expenditures to this point?
I think it looks reasonable at the 31%.
Yeah.
I had a question on utilities, which were 47%, and equipment at 55%. Were there some unusual things that happened, Jen?
No, not in terms of the utilities. Other than, I mean, we did have a lot of AC issues that were, where it was out and then it had to catch up to cool the building down. So that may have resulted in a little bit more use. The equipment is, the maintenance is 55%. I think that's a set line with very specific contracts, and it was just that one of them has already come up annually for the year.
Okay.
But no, nothing unusual.
So we're not going to be in bad shape if we have like a really cold winter and you need a lot of heat or anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I think is utilities is the electricity and the fuel line item is for heat.
Right.
Is that right? So we haven't really gone into the fuel line item yet. So
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
we won't let them get too cold. All right.
Get too warm.
So if there aren't any other questions or comments about that, we can move on to the library director's report. And I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments. But I'm going to jump sort of to the end where you talk about the server. Do we have, I know you said you're waiting for a quote for the server that is at its end of life. Do we have an approximate?
The initial
Cost.
quote I just got about 30 minutes ago.
Ooh.
It's about $2,000 for the initial quote. But there were some things in there that we don't need, mostly related to mounting hardware for the server, which, you know, we don't need the rails or anything for that. So it'll come back a little bit lower, but I don't expect it to be significantly lower than that.
Okay.
So that 2,000, Jen, so the 2,000 is with includes the labor cost or it just the
Good
material cost? Like we have to budget something separate for the labor?
That quote is just for the equipment. And then the labor would be contracting with Mike Harridan to get everything set up. So there will be a bit of an additional cost. I can ask him for an estimate of how much time it will take him.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, thanks.
So with that in mind, we have enough in the equipment, the new equipment line item to cover the cost of that.
Yep.
And Mike's labor, that comes out of, is it contractual?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And those line items look okay, so.
Yeah, we should be in good shape for that, which is fortunate because he says it was initially it started to crash once a week or not quite every single week. And now he's saying that he's looking at the logs and it's crashing several times a day. So it's, you know, and originally we tried to work with Dell to see if we could fix it. But because it's at its end of life, there's not much they can do. We didn't want to spend too much more time and money sort of going back and forth with them. It's a little tricky with their customer service. So we decided, let's go ahead and price a new one and see what that looks like and see if we can afford it.
And are they guaranteed? Is the new one guaranteed for a certain amount of time? Do you know? I mean, you may not know yet, but.
I do know that there is a warranty with it. I can't remember if it's 1 year or 2 years.
Perfect.
Okay, all right.
One more thing, Jen. So there will be some downtime or we like the library computers cannot be used or something like that?
I don't think so. I'm fairly certain that when he switches it over, if there's any downtime at all, it'll be minimal. But the server mostly maintains updates and things like that. So I'm pretty sure that we won't be without public use computers for very long. If we do have to have some downtime, we do have laptops in the building that we could use instead so that people aren't unable to access computers if they need them.
Thanks.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
A little bit on that? Just, I think it was maybe going on 6 or 7 years now when the original server was installed. So, and if I can remember that far back in terms of interruption of service, when he first brought that online, it had very minimal impact. And Mike will come in early on a Saturday or Monday when we're not open.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, just to back up Jen, that there'll be minimal interruption. This is mostly to maintain the health of our public computers for patrons, because Mike is able to monitor things remotely so that we don't have crashes consistently. It's seamless to patrons.
Excellent.
And just another point that I thought of when Deborah was talking, when the server is crashing, it's not causing the computers to go down. It's just not doing its other sort of back end functions. So there's at least that. It's just, you know, without the server working properly, we're not getting those security updates and things like that working properly.
So it's not impacting your actual like employee workstations, not impacting the public.
Right.
Works.
Correct.
Right. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any comments or questions about the director's report?
I'm all set.
Alrighty. If nobody else has it, then we're going to move on to the exciting agenda for tonight, the new action plan. And I do mean action. Did you all have time to read it?
Yes.
It was,
It was very comprehensive, and I have minimal questions at this time because I'm sure some specifics will be flushed out that would answer my questions.
Yep, and if I might, Mary did email me with a couple of questions. One was in reference to the first goal under Q4. We discuss offer reference training for legal, social services, and health-related questions, as well as information literacy training for staff. Mary's question was, would that include knowing which other departments in town we can refer people to? And absolutely, yes. We don't want to recreate the wheel, and we don't want to try to do
That's-
anything that other
That was
people
my,
do better.
that was my motivation for that. I don't want us to recreate the wheel. You've got enough to do without.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. That answers that one.
That
I
one
have a question.
specifically refers to, like, we do get questions every once in a while where there's some gray area as to how best to approach the answer to the question to avoid any kind of liability, especially like when we get legal questions, but some health related questions. So knowing the difference between, yes, I can point you to a resource to help you answer your question, and, you know, this would really be better off if you contact this other department, and they can help you because they have better training or something like that. So just
And the liability issue was the other thing that I was
right.
motivated me to ask that question. So that, thank you. That's very reassuring.
Yep, we want to offer resources to help people, but we don't want to offer like medical diagnoses or something that could, you know, point people in the wrong direction or based
Right.
on assumptions that we have based on our limited training. You know, we're not doctors, we're not lawyers, but we can point you in the direction of somebody who is an expert.
Right. That, great.
Richard, did you have a question?
yeah, Richard, sorry.
Jen, I understand that maybe I've missed something, but this is supposed to be a 3-year action plan?
Just 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But
Uh,
the goals went over for 3 years, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So each year we'll break it into like
All right.
these specific
So there'll
things.
be a new action plan each year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Some things probably will have to be carried over. I mean, they can't
Right.
Right.
be excluded. So I just hadn't thought about that, Richard. That's an excellent question. Maybe there's some way to, not that we want you to redo this. I think this is very concise. I was very impressed, but somehow to put that in there, just, you know, I don't know what the wording would look like, but that's a great point, that this may be ongoing or some other type of terminology that says this is an ongoing action. Just a thought.
one of the things, okay, this action plan has been written in support of the strategic plan that we have submitted to the Mass Board of Library Trustees,
Right.
and the Mass Library Commission, Board of Library Commissioners, there we go. So we have given them our 3-year plan, submitted that. This is the action plan that we have to submit that is for 1 year, and it's for calendar year 2022, correct?
Yes.
Okey doke. Because I kept thinking in terms of a fiscal year and then having to like, nope, wait, back up. It's a calendar year. 'Cause I'm like, wait, we wouldn't do anything until July. That's wrong. So it really is, and this is the plan that you're using, but this is also what you have to submit to the MBLC.
Yep.
So the MBLC understands that this is the action plan for the coming year.
Yep.
And when we'll be coming to cover year 2 of our strategic plan.
Correct. And when we use it as a sort of marketing tool, you know, if we put it on our website or if we're sending it out anywhere for public consumption, it would be paired with the strategic plan. So it would be a lot clearer that like, these are our broad goals for 3 years and these are our specific goals for 1 year. So when you pair the two documents back together, that becomes much more apparent.
Okay. Richard, did you have another question? or
Yeah,
comment?
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to say, I thought this was extremely comprehensive and ambitious. And I was really extremely happy to see certain items. One was the emergency preparedness training. I think that's so timely. I think a lot of this is very timely. Next was the implicit bias training.
Mm.
I think that is very important. The programs regarding critical disinformation. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
this is very timely. I mean, and I really think you did a great job in coming up with these different actions that you plan to make. And I wish you luck. I think it's ambitious.
Well, thank
It's
you.
very ambitious.
Very ambitious. And even though Mitch couldn't be here, he did send us something and he wanted everyone to know that he loves the action plan. I agree. I think it's awesome. And he is looking forward to dealing with the issues that you've earmarked as the Building and Grounds Committee should work on this. So he was very positive and very complimentary of the work that you've done. And I agree with him.
Do you want to, Michelle, one more thing? Jen,
Yes.
do you want to know about a typo?
Yes, yes, I do.
On the second goal for the community.
Say it again, please.
Second goal, goal 2. Okay, it's one. It's the 4th paragraph, adult services librarian. See that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll meet with the new senior center director to further develop collaborative programs such, and then it needs as.
As
Ooh. And I just read that 3 times too, and I had the as in my head because that's what I
Yeah,
was expecting to see. Thank you so much. I will definitely fix that.
Nothing like nitpicking, right?
No, it's important because rather we pick it up than somebody else.
Yeah, if you can make
Right.
the correction now, why not?
Right.
I mean, it's one of those things that it seems like a small thing, but it kind of plays into, you know, the professionalism and completeness of the document
And that's what we're here
trust in
for,
us.
to read it over and make sure it all makes sense. That's why I sent you the question that I had. I thought maybe it might need some preparation, and I concur. I said in the email to you that it was very concise and complete and very understand. I like the understandability of it. You can understand each goal, which really helps.
Yeah.
And
And I think a lot of this is a testament to the enthusiasm and intelligence of the department heads that we have. It's ambitious because they're ambitious, and it's exciting because they're excited. And the input that they've had and the feedback on like even just down to the format and breaking it out into like 3-month chunks and things like that has really sort of led us to where we are now.
the way that you've done it and with the goals that you've set up are very, you've really done that. The SMART goals are very measurable. You can tell what they are and you'll know when they're done. And if they're not done, you'll know that we got this far and this is what needs to be done at this point.
And that was my thing about some of them need to be ongoing. They're not stop and start.
Right. It's,
Mhm.
yeah. So I will back up and say that the long range planning committee was going to meet to review this and sort of give it the blessing, because the action plan, the strategic plan and action plan falls under sort of the not the purview, but like the long-range planning committee is supposed to deal with this. But one of our members, again, has been having some technical difficulties. And so we made a decision, because we were not going to be able to get a meeting done and get it done in time for the set. The long-range planning committee is moving this forward to the Board of Trustees for the full board to approve, so that Jen can then turn this in, because it has to be in at the beginning of December 1st, right?
Yep.
Right. So we as a board have to vote on this to accept the action plan as presented with the typo, the insertion of the missing word.
As amended.
As amended.
Would
So-
you like,
Oh, I was just gonna say, does anybody have any other questions or comments about the strategic plan? I mean, the action plan? If not, then the chair would entertain a motion to approve the,
I move that the Northborough Free Library Board of Library Trustees accept the action plan for 2022.
all right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Nita. All right, and I will do a roll call vote to see if this passes. Mary Crowley,
Yes, I approve the action plan.
Nita Karanjkar,
Yes, I approve it.
Joan Scott,
Joan Scott, aye.
Richard Tucker,
Richard Tucker, aye.
and Michelle Rehill also says aye. The motion carries in the affirmative to accept the action plan as presented. And again, I applaud you for the work that you've done. I think it's really wonderful and very thorough. And it's ambitious, but it's not unachievable. And I appreciate that.
Just a quick, since Deborah's here, get to
Yes.
embarrass her a little bit and say thank you. Deborah and I work exceptionally well together, and she had a big role in this. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Deborah.
Deborah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jen.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, we should have that.
I wasn't.
I'm trying to unmute. I keep getting the little hand, and I'm like, no, I don't want to push it. I want to let it go. Thank you, everyone. And, and I very much enjoy working with Jen, who's coming up on her 1-year anniversary. And I can't believe it's.
Yeah,
I
I know.
because it's just been so much fun every day. It really is.
Let's have an anniversary party.
I know.
And while we're talking on the embarrassing Deborah, or I just want to say that the highlights for the adult services in October that was in our packet, I was so excited to see that because it looks so fancy,
It does.
and it's so nice just to have some of the highlights, because I think that we can think about how many people walk through the door, how many people talk to you, but just to have some kind of the, oh yeah, these are some of the big things that we did. And here's a cool thing that happened. I love that we made someone's day.
Right.
So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I know we talked about that, I don't know, 6 months ago or so. You said you were going to start doing that.
Yes.
So-
Well, again, it's Jen's encouragement, because it's like you said, you just get bogged down in all the details and you forget, the whole overview of what's great about your job and what's important that we do month to month. So
Yeah, take a step back and appreciate all that you've accomplished.
Mhm.
It makes you feel good, I think, when you stop and think, oh, I did all that. We did all that.
we did all that.
We did all that. That's so awesome.
And
All right.
with such a small staff, I think Deborah's job is really hard with managing all the programs and the grants and staffing the desk and everything. every month. She does an amazing job with it. So
Well, since we're going to give Deborah, I'm going to give her.
Oh, my
another-
goodness.
Before I was the trustee, which
I
is
don't-
just, I've just recently, she got me through the pandemic. I asked her a lot of crazy questions and she helped me on my computer regularly to navigate everything. So I do applaud you and I do thank you for that. And she never got tired of getting back to me with an email. And they were coming fast and furious there for a while.
Well, thank you, Mary. But, I have to say it was all three of us. Like, we all have our own like patrons that sort of like gravitate with, like Donna has her patrons and Eric has it. In fact, one day I got a call from somebody and their first question was, well, is Eric there? I'm like, well, he's not here till tomorrow. I'll call back. I'm like, can I help you? No, I
Okay.
want to talk to Eric.
Well, I know exactly how that patron feels.
It's a real team effort. So it's great that we all, and we all have like our strengths too. So that's what makes it fun.
That's true. I spoke with someone from the children's room today and mentioned an information need that I was going to have in the next week or so. And it was definitely oh, so-and-so can, oh, no, this is the person you want to go to. I mean, we can all do that, but this is the person who's really going to be the best for you. So it's like you all have strengths, but you're all willing to say, sure, I could do that, but you know who could do an even better job? This person.
Yeah.
So, you kind of share the credit.
Yeah.
So, all righty. Are we done embarrassing Deborah for today?
I think so. I'll work on
I'm
it.
going to mute myself now. I'm muting.
All right. Well, if there isn't anything else that needs to be said today, if anybody has comments or anything, speak up. Otherwise, we're moving on to the end of the meeting, where I will tell you that the next meeting will be December 14th at 7 p.m. And sort of already asked any other business that may come before the board, but I see none. So I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. If someone would like to do that.
I so move.
Thank you, Joan. And do I have a second?
I'm the one who is doing the second again.
Thank you. You know what? We have to work with the resources we have. So now I will do the roll call. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, Mary Crowley.
In favor of adjourning the meeting?
Here, Nita Karanjkar.
Nita Karanjkar, aye.
And Joan Scott.
Joan Scott, hi.
Richard Tucker.
Tucker, aye.
All right, Michelle Wehill also agrees. So the meeting is officially adjourned at 7:30 p.m. And hi, Kate, I hope you enjoyed the show.